Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This afternoon, we have 37 guests from APO Asian Productivity Organization. And I look at the name list, we have expert delegation come from British, India, Cambodia, Fiji, Indonesia, Iran, Korea, Malaysia, China, Mongolia, Pakistan, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Vietnam. Welcome to Taiwan. And I was requested to make a speech about the PV industry. And for the next 30 minutes, I'll briefly introduce the solar energy PV industry in the world. I'm the Vice President of Jintech Energy Corporation, and I also teach at the National Taipei University. This is the photo with President Ma in 2010, and to be the outstanding manager of the year. And that's an arrangement for APO visit. And we schedule have a 30 minutes speech this afternoon. And before I mention about the PV industry, let's look at the economic indicator. The economic indicator, first one I mentioned is about the economic growth rate. As you can see, the economic growth rate, we have a two line. One is the average of the whole world, and the other one is Taiwan. And Taiwan have a good growth in the past, but in 2008 and 2009 have a negative economic growth because of a global financial crisis. And the second economic indicator is so-called the Consumer Price Index, CPI. And if we're looking at the chart here, is two countries. One is American in red color, and the other one is Taiwan. And as you can see, both countries, the inflation, the consumer price index is relatively low. If I'm looking at other countries, for example, Taiwan is a 1%, American 1.6%, Europe only 1.7%, and Japan no inflation, and China 2.5%. So we can conclude the whole world inflation is not an issue because all the country, the consumer price index is relatively under control. Another economic indicator is so-called employment rate. Employment rate also an economic indicator of economic stability. And unemployment rate, we're looking at the chart here. Taiwan in 2013 is 4.2%. US 7.2%. And Latam and Europe is in trouble. The whole Europe unemployment rate reached two-digit number, 11.3%. And some countries like Spain even reach 20% or more than 20%. A lot of young people graduate from the university or graduate school. After graduation, cannot find any job. That's a very serious problem. And the unemployment rate in Japan 4.1%, and in China also 4.1%. So unemployment rate is an issue. At least in America, still 7%, and Europe still 11%. That's a very serious problem. And in terms of solar energy, the supply chain starting from the polysilicon, and like a GCL in China, OCI in Korea. And in terms of wafer manufacturing, and majority is come from China, like a GCL, LDK, Rain Solar. Next one is from Korea. And as to the solar cell manufacturing, and Jintex, Motec, Neon, Solar and Solar Tech are all Taiwan cell manufacturer. So Taiwan is play an important role in the cell manufacturing. And as to the solar module majority come from China. 80%, 90% module manufacturing in China. And we also have some company doing the system installation all over the world. If I looking at the global market, the largest market is in China. China is projecting 10 to 13 gigawatt in this year. The second largest market will be the European market, around 10 gigawatt. Japan ranked the third, 7 plus gigawatt. And US market is number 4, 7 minus gigawatt. The rest of the world only 7 gigawatt. So if we're looking at the major market is China, Europe, Japan, US. And this is the news from United Nations. United Nations in their IPCC report mentioned about because of the global warming, we only have 15 years left. So UN urged all the countries in the world using renewable energy and solar energy and or wind energy should be increased by 3 times or 4 times from nowadays. And as I mentioned previously, in terms of the cell manufacturing, China is number 1 and Taiwan is number 2. And Taiwan already become a global solar cell manufacturing country. The advantage is really in 4 areas. One is the high quality and technology. We are better than US, Europe, and even Japan. And second one is the competitive cost advantage. Of course, our costs are lower than Europe, US, and Japan. But China is the lowest cost in the world. The third advantage, we have advanced equipment. All our plant, we use the modern, the latest equipment in the world. So we are leading in all the country. We are better than US manufacturer. We are better than European manufacturer. We are better than Japanese manufacturer. Even we are much better than Chinese manufacturer. The number 4 competitive advantage, we have a lot of talent resources because Taiwan is leading in semiconductor industry and also LCD industry, so we can provide a lot of engineer for this industry. In terms, because solar industry is a relatively new industry, starting from year 2000 to nowadays, and really, I put it into 4 stages. The first stage until 2005 to 2 gigawatt. At that time, the early stage only 30-50 company. From 2005 to 2010, there are, it's a booming stage. We have somewhere around 500 to 1,000 company in the world. But because of oversupply, the capacity is over market demand. So now into a consolidation stage. We have oversupply in the year of 2011, 12, 13, and nowadays 14. So this period of time, almost all the solar manufacturing company financially is losing money. And so we are facing the difficulty stage for consolidation. If I using the 2014 cell market for analysis, you can look at the global, I just mentioned about 41 gigawatt. China 10, Europe 10, US 7, Japan 7, the rest of the world only 7. And so the market we focus will be European market, US market, and Japanese market. And we are not be able to compete in Chinese market because the Chinese market is a very low price and it's occupied by Chinese manufacturer. And this is the report. We recently doing the capacity and demand comparison. If we're looking at the European market, there are only 2 gigawatt capacity, but the market is 10 gigawatt. So they have 8 gigawatt need to import from other market. And China is definitely oversupplied because their capacity have 31 gigawatt, and their market only 10 to 14 gigawatt. So they have a lot, is export. Japan, again, is short of capacity, only 2.4 gigawatt available, but the market is 7 gigawatt, so they need to import 4.6 gigawatt from other market, mainly from China and from Taiwan. And similarly, in so-called emerging market, that's including US market demand will be 12 gigawatt, but the capacity only 5 gigawatt. So they have a 6.7 gigawatt need to import from other market. And again, majority will come from China and also some come from Taiwan. And I also put Taiwan into the capacity because in Taiwan we have a 10 gigawatt capacity, and majority is for export. So you can see if a market demand only 43 gigawatt, but your supply have a 51 gigawatt, so definitely is oversupply by 708 gigawatt this year. Another one is we looking at this year and next year, and this is the data when the UK Solar Bus CEO coming visiting Taiwan. And I personally have some meeting with him, and we come up with some conclusion. And I write down for this year, 2014, the market demand somewhere around 41, 42, 43 gigawatt, but capacity is somewhere around 50 gigawatt. And next year, the market will go to 48 gigawatt, and capacity also, it will be much close to the market demand. So I think the oversupply situation will be improved by the year of 2015. And this assumption is based on the 10% thin film, and 25% come from mono cell, and 65% will be multi-cell. The overcapacity, and this is the data I share with everybody. If we're looking at the supply chain from poly, wafer, cell, and module, the global capacity is a high poly 88 gigawatt, wafer 60 gigawatt, cell 60 gigawatt, and module 70 gigawatt. And the market demand only 40 gigawatt, so it's still heavily oversupplied in terms of, so some of the capacity will not be used. And majority of the capacity is mainly come from China, because China, one country alone, poly 30 gigawatt, wafer 40 gigawatt, be able to meet the global world demand. Cell also have a 39 gigawatt, and module have a 36 gigawatt. So really, what China try to do is, the government also announced they support 6 big manufacturer and 6 small manufacturer, so they be able to trim down their capacity to poly only 15 gigawatt, wafer 21, and cell 16, and module 17. And by doing that, the oversupply issue can be reduced. And Taiwan, if you're looking at the Taiwan capacity, poly we have 3 gigawatt, wafer 5 gigawatt, cell 9 gigawatt, module very few, only 1.3 gigawatt. So Taiwan manufacturing, our strengths are in cell manufacturing. And this is the report of 2012 financial result. and Taiwan media even put solar energy into so-called miserable industry by media. And if we're looking at the global, all the manufacturers in the world, nobody making money. Everybody is losing money. And I remember one number. In 2012, in China alone, they are losing something like 1,000. This is in Chinese 亿，亏1000亿. And in Taiwan, manufacturer losing 250 亿，250亿，亏损250亿 in Taiwan. So after the 2011 oversupply situation and everybody facing a great difficulty to be survived, it's a survival game, and all manufacturers try to survive in this competition. And we Chinese have a saying, the winner is the king, but now it's not the winner is the queen, because everybody is a loser, but the one left in the marketplace become the king. I remember I quote one remark from a novel that's A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, and in his opening of his book, he mentioned about this is the worst period of time. This is also the best period of time. This is the dark season. This is also a season of a bright future. This is a desperation, the winter of desperation. This is also the spring with full of hope. Our future looks we got nothing. In the meantime, our future looks we got everything. And so I quote, we have good time, we have bad time, and we are looking forward to turn around in 2015, next year. And in terms of financial performance, this report is done by Prismark. Prismark is a business consulting company in U.S. and he's doing the 2012 financial evaluation and conclude the first solar in U.S. is the best performing company in the world, and Gentech ranked the second in the world. We are the second best performing company in the world. And those Chinese manufacturing are vertical integrated module maker. They are somewhere in here. So they are worse than Gentech. So how to survive under this kind of oversupply situation? I list down 5 criteria. The first criteria, I think you need to have a competitive product with high efficiency and high quality. The second, you need to be cost competitive. So you need to be a low cost producer and financially strong, and you have a sales capability and you can satisfy with your customer, and also your corporate culture be able to meet the market demand nowadays. And so I remember Michael Porter. He is a competitive, in his book, he mentioned about the competitive strategy, and he mentioned about 3 strategies. One is the low-cost producer strategy I just mentioned before, and second strategy will be the differentiation strategy. So you need to be differentiated in your product, differentiated in your service. And the third strategy will be the focus strategy. And the focus strategy we are doing here in Taiwan is the manufacturing efficiency, and we low down our breakage rate. So we are becoming, leading in our production, our cost, and our service we provided. I give you an example. I teach in the university. I always using this example. And this one is mentioned about the value innovation and how to differentiate from other, so you'll be able to create your value. For example, when you have a coffee bean in United States, it's a commodity. You can spend $1 for a commodity. And if you went to the supermarket, you buy 1 can of Mr. Brown, this is the product, so they charge you $2 per can. If you went to the McDonald's to have a cup of coffee, and McDonald's charge you $3 because they provide a fast food service to you and they charge you $3. But if you go to the Starbucks for a cup of coffee, and Starbucks will charge you $6 for a cup of coffee. The reason people willing to pay for $6 for a cup of coffee, because they have enjoyed a good time, and so they're willing to pay the $6. And so the brand, that's the value created by the brand of Starbucks. So in this example, I mentioned about for a cup of coffee, you can spend $1 or $2 for a cup of coffee, or $3 in case of McDonald's, or $6 in case of Starbucks. So Taiwan try to be at least McDonald's or Starbucks. We try to sell at the premium price, or we be able to make money. We do not want to be, Chinese can be the commodity provider. Chinese also manufacturing country, so they will be in the market for $1, $2, and Taiwan need to differentiate from the market. We try to compete in the $3, $6 market. And I mentioned to you previously, this is 2012. We are the top 10 cell manufacturing in the world. We rank the number 9 in the world in terms of capacity. We rank number 7 in terms of production, manufacturing production volume. And in terms of overall performance, we rank the number 2 in the world. So we are a leading company in the world. And this is a photo. We have a visitor from Poland, and the vice minister, she's very tall, at least 180 centimeters. She's taller than me. And also, he have some colleague accompany with him, and our foreign ministry of foreign affairs asked us to, because they are interested in solar energy, clean energy, so we have a meeting with them, and I'm doing the presentation for them as well. So when we understand the market, we understand the competition, we also understand our customer, so we can set up the strategy. And we need to analyze the market, analyze our competitor, and analyze our customer. And by doing that, I always doing the so-called benchmarking. If you try to be the best performer in the marketplace, I just lead down for benchmarking. Benchmarking on the headcount, that's the human resources, benchmarking in your cost, or benchmarking in your efficiency, or benchmarking in your inventory. And if you are the leading company, you should be the leading in your industry. And as I mentioned, we are number 7 cell manufacturer in the world. We are doing the solar energy, and solar energy is a clean energy. We are a growing company, continue to grow for the last couple years, and we are competitive in the marketplace, so we'll be able to leading our industry and leading other manufacturers. And Jinpeng is a reliable brand in the world. And in terms of our corporate culture, our corporate culture is a pragmatic innovation and also effective. We have a so-called KPI management, or management by objective. And this graph is a quote from E3. and each we mentioned about Taiwan situation into three big giants like Europe, US, and mainland China. And Taiwan need to, work together with Europe, US, and China. And we cooperate together and we compete each other and try to survive in the world. This is a very difficult situation, difficult environment for our industry. And I also quote some photo for your reference. This is the photo the PV used in Germany. And recently, U.S. government assigned some anti-dumping tax to Taiwan as well as to China. And Gentech is assigned by 27% tax, anti-dumping tax. That's a very serious influence to our product export to the U.S. market because there we need to pay for extra 27 tax penalty. And so all the manufacturers in Taiwan try to negotiate with the U.S. government and try to invest in overseas. And if we cannot do that, we almost need to give up the U.S. market. And this page, last week I have a meeting with Ministry of Economic Affairs, and we are talking about renewable energy in the future. And I just mentioned about Japanese by the year 2030, they claim they're going to have a 30% energy come from renewable energy, and French government also announced 32% of their energy will come from renewable energy. And Germany even mentioned about by 2050, 50% of their energy will come from renewable energy, and United Nations already warned all the countries in the world because of global warming. We only have 15 years left. So in the energy trend news, they mentioned about solar energy is about 1/3 of the renewable energy in the world. Another news is from Solar Zone. They mentioned about solar energy will be the cheapest energy by 2014. Some of the countries like Australia or some other country, they already mentioned about solar energy will be the cheapest energy in the world. And this graph is come from source from the solar. And as you can see, all the traditional energy like oil, coal, or gas gradually will be reduced or diminished because of we already use up all the natural resources. But only one thing we can use forever, that will be the sun, the solar energy. By the year of 2035 or 2045, the industry will be grow substantially, and in their forecast by 2011, and more than half, almost 2/3 of the energy will come from solar energy. So long as the sun is there, Earth will be there as well. And I also put some of the photo from the visitor for your sharing. We have a professor come from India, and this professor is come from Iran. And another question from Asia Productivity Center, and I make the presentation, and if they have any question, in addition to in the class after the lecture, and I have a Q&A section with some of the experts separately. This is also one of the photo as well. Another photo. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your listening, and hope all the guests, all the experts, and can come to visit Taiwan again. Thank you. Bye bye.